Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats for our final session, which is meant to take stock of the past 2 days of our joint work and discussions. And it is also meant to look forward to next year. Well, time flies, doesn't it? We have had an eventful couple of days. And in this final round, Emily and myself wanted...
I'm here.
Very good. Hello. In this final session, we wanted to start in the reverse order. We've heard a lot from the Commissioner about the reverse multi-stakeholder governance. So here we were tempted to start by asking you what you thought about the past 2 days. What are your main takeaways from our sessions, and what you would recommend the organizers to think about with next year in mind? It's a free country, so I will not force anyone to speak, but I would appreciate some volunteers. This side or that side. Emily is on the other side.
I've recruited some volunteers, but if there's anybody else that wants to raise their hand before I go to my recruited volunteers.
You have some recruited volunteers.
Yes, and I've gone by the principle of getting different perspectives. So I have recruited a student perspective and a business perspective. So I'm going to start with the business perspective here. Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you, Emily. Hi, my name is Lars Maura. I'm from Siemens. And I think it was an excellent 2 days, very inspiring discussions, and definitely big thanks for City of Turku for organizing such a excellent event. I would like to highlight 2 things from my side which are standing out of these 2 days. Definitely, we have in the region many big objectives where we have big programs we want to achieve, and to be really efficient in them, we need to work together with the public sector and private sector. We need to have strong relationship between the companies, and is it the cities, is it the governmental stakeholders? We need to utilize more of these cooperations, and I think this is in City of Turku. We have been working together with them, and it's a good basis for cooperation to find new ways. We need to have many stakeholders to solve this big project, to reach those big objectives. So that's one thing we discussed. I think there's some sessions today very much about how to improve this cooperation. And from yesterday, the main thing for me, it was really striking this big data, digitalization, how we can utilize this, the strength. That's a big strength in our region. We have competencies, we have talents, we have a good environment, and how to utilize that more, how to really exploit this potential we have here. And this is something I believe we can with new digital solutions, services, models to operate, we can really improve the efficiency in many areas, and I think that's a good thing, and we should utilize that for our strength growth.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, and I have a voluntary volunteer here.
Yes, thank you. My name is Jan Lundin. I'm head of the CBSS Secretariat in Stockholm. I find this week to be extremely useful from our point of view. It's of course regrettable that there was no summit this year, but it remains that for the CBSS and the project and network-oriented activities that we are constantly pursuing, this is extremely helpful. Our entire secretariat of roughly 20 people has been engaged for these days, and we've got lots of work done in terms of planning for the year ahead. I think it's an example to follow for years to come. There was something similar during the German CBSS presidency, a Baltic Sea Week with an integrated approach to everything, in a coherent approach, if you want, to everything that goes on in the region. And the Finnish CBSS presidency has taken this one step further, because they really organized this event in connection to the high-level political event which we have every year. So next year there will be a high-level political event in Tallinn. That's the foreign ministers meeting. We will also have a children's minister, social ministers meeting in April. We will have There will be a Baltic ministerial. This is a CBSS-related network for energy issues, and then VASAB, which is a friend of the CBSS, will have a ministerial in fall. So what I'm saying is that there are plenty of political events every year. There will be 4 during the next 12 months. And to try to organize events in connection to those political events, I think makes perfect sense, because sometimes we complain about the fact that there is no political impact of what's going on in discussions like these. So we should try to achieve that. I realize this is easier said than done, and next year this event will take place in Riga, I understand. So, but I still wanted to make the point that in the future, why not try to work hard on synchronizing this with the political events that are sort of happening. Thank you.
Okay, Pawel, I have a real volunteer up here too.
My name is Hilary Carlson from Green Centre in Denmark, part of the Submariner network here as well. I think we've heard a lot of really good initiatives from singular companies, also about optimizing systems and resources and reducing the amount of resources we're using. But I really would like to hear more about synergies between different companies and public bodies regarding one man's waste being another man's resource. And I think that would be something to work on with the Baltic Development Forum next time.
Thank you very much. My recruited volunteers haven't arrived, but I have a real one again.
Hello, my name is Reino Wessling. I represent a new NGO called Reivei. And if we take a holistic viewpoint to these questions, we have to think also the role of consumers and consumers' behavior, consumers' awareness, and how we train them to take part in all these activities. So I want to affect on these matters through school students to families and all countries around Baltic Sea. And I have done good networking here, and I think we will make success together.
Thank you very much. Great to hear.
Okay, I'm with my second recruited volunteer and looking for hands if there are any last ones.
Yes, thank you very much, Elina. I try to say some wise words for you all. So my name is Eetu Simpanen. I'm a student of Turku School of Economics, and I represent myself. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, and moreover, thank you for giving the voice to Mr. Marek Sponk, who represented Baltic University program and more or less the youth at this conference during the earlier session on soft power in the Baltic Sea region. So let's not forget us youth. I'm a student of business myself, and I agree with many of Marek's points, and Marek represented, as I said, this Baltic University program at this session about soft power. And Mr. Swieboda commented the young gentleman's speech by telling about the year '89 and how difficult times those were. I'm sure they were. But the difference with Marek's and Pawel's youth is that we, today's youth, know how things are thanks to the internet, social media, etc., etc. We know what's happening to the nature as we speak. We know there's no plan B, there's no planet B. But still, too many companies keep on polluting and using fossil fuels. So, what I would like to suggest is more actions, more courage. For example, as it was mentioned, circular economy approaches like cradle to cradle is something we should really consider also here in the Baltic Sea region. This is my take-home message. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else who would like to share with us his or her comments? If not, then Emily, if you could
Yes.
welcome our panelists, and I will rush to the stage to
Exactly.
welcome
Without
them
tripping,
there.
it's a bit of a challenge, but we have with us to summarize the days, Erja Tikka, the ambassador to Baltic Sea issues from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Finland, Dr. Ilze Rūse, from the Director of European Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Latvia, and Hans Brask, from the the Director of the Baltic Development Forum.
By the way, thank you to all the faithful few who are still in this room. It is a challenge after 2 days and after last night's party, so it is all the more appreciated. You are the true friends of the Baltic Sea region. Erja, can we go straight to your feedback and your conclusions and also your recommendations for next year?
Dear friends, it is an impossible task to summarize this forum, this huge forum, I mean huge in content, with its 6 plenaries and 17 parallel workshops. So I am only going to give you some impressions that I got from this event. This has truly been the biggest Baltic Sea region event so far, with more than 1,000 participants. And I'm very happy that we were able to arrange this event here in Logomo, which has accommodated us all and which has functioned, as far as I understand, very well, and which has so beautiful decorations as well. I think the organization, all in all, has been running as we planned. Only the timing with the weather failed, partly. But I think that yesterday evening, when the Prime Ministers unveiled the beautiful statue, it didn't disturb us so much, and after that we could be warm inside. By the way, concerning the statue, some people have been asking me how could they donate and get their own nameplate in the statue by Stefan Lindfors. You can get information on that on the website of centrumbalticum.org. centrumbalticum.org. So feel free to donate for the good of the archipelago sea and get your name forever in this beautiful statue. Yesterday we started with looking at the current economical climate of our region. There are challenges and we have not yet recovered from the downturn. We also learned that we will not return to the normal we had, but to a new normal, where the concept of labor will be different from that of the previous generations. We have almost everything that is necessary for competitiveness, and we can still become the best part of Europe, of at least Europe, but new kind of thinking is needed. We also have great potential in green and blue growth, in health economy, in smart specialization, and above all in digital economy. I think you share my feeling that the plenary session yesterday with the 2 young prime ministers and the representatives of ICT companies was one of the most inspiring ones here during these 2 days. As Prime Minister Röivas said, our future is digital. Internet is a human right in the Baltic Sea region. The next Rovios and Skypes are already there. The politicians just have to help their creators to fulfill their dreams. There is much potential for creating cross-border digital solutions, and we can save by digitalization. We also heard that the Baltic Sea region is a pool of talent in this respect. That is one of the attractions of our region for companies. But we need also a regional talent strategy and more talent movement. Today we discuss the ownership, the leadership and implementation of the EUSBSR. We agree that what needs improvement must be improved and choices made. But at the same time, it is important to bear in mind that most of the strategy networks created in the recent years are doing a marvelous job. We have really achieved concrete results and will be achieving even more in the near future. In the parallel session discussing political leadership of all the macro-regional strategies, a key question raised was how to feed back results of projects back to the policy level. One of the most outstanding features of the EU strategy for the Baltic Sea region is its multi-level approach, which is new in the European Union, mobilizing regions, cities, businesses and institutions for cooperation. This forms a solid basis for further integration of our whole region. And now with the new funding opportunities, we can reach even more tangible results. Transport and energy are priorities where we have a lot of potential and where we have to find new impetus for cooperation, also between regions. As the moderator said, we are facing a testing period for our strategy also, because the EU will soon have new decision makers, and a joint influence is needed to keep the macro-regional approach alive in the EU. And one of the key messages from this morning's discussion, I think, was also that we want to continue the regional cooperation with all countries of the region, despite the current stress in international politics. From the parallel work streams, I can only mention some examples, because it was impossible to follow 17 of them. Yesterday, the parallel session discussing the role of cities and regions in the Baltic Sea cooperation, an idea of building companionships between regions and cities was presented. One example of such companionship that was raised is cross-border telemedicine that is already being implemented between German and Polish regions. In the parallel session on next steps to save the sea, the necessity to review how we value environmental qualities in our decision-making was raised. Nature capital has value and should be incorporated properly in cost-benefit analysis. In fact, protecting and restoring the Baltic Sea will contribute to and secure economic growth and jobs. In the session on transport corridors, it was agreed that the 10T corridors should bring clear added value on regional growth. In the workshop on economically viable water and nutrient management this morning, it was stated that in order to have fully sustainable nutrient recycling, all the sectors, from producers to end users, must be involved. The companies present in this workshop showed with their practical examples from farming, bakery and brewery and biogas sectors that it is possible and also economically viable. In the parallel session on blue growth, excellent examples were presented how public and private sectors can work together to develop clean and innovative shipping. This could be further extended to other maritime technologies in offshore or aquaculture. In the second session on blue growth, it was noted that industry is just now facing big changes in order to make the transition towards greener technologies. We urgently need dialogue between business and governments and a commitment to invest in new maritime infrastructure and innovation. On the topic of smart cities, speakers of the session agreed that Baltic Sea region has a great potential when it comes to becoming recognized forerunner in smart urban solutions. And indeed, already now some cities in our region are globally known centers for innovation and sustainability in the sectors of urban transportation, energy efficiency, and social care. What is needed is a more integrated and holistic approach. In the workshop on reduction of risk and improving disaster preparedness, the group noted that there are various ways for businesses to engage in building capacity to disaster resilience, such as engaging in climate change adaptation measures. A greater level of risk awareness through building a business culture of safety should be ensured. These were just a few examples of the parallel work streams, and we would ask the leaders and moderators of all the parallel sessions to inform us about their work by sending 3-4 key messages from the sessions to those who have been responsible for these sessions, to Baltic Development Forum, to the Commission or the city of Turku. Thus we can share the ideas and results on our websites. Dear friends, a lot has been going on during these 2 days also in the networking village, where organizations, businesses and projects from various priority areas have been presenting themselves. It has been a real showcase of what the EU strategy for Baltic Sea region is all about. I was especially impressed by the presentation of Baltic is the New Black by the project Baltic Lab, a Baltic Sea region leadership and talent program for creativity and entrepreneurship. We heard about Frön, a business development agency for creative industries, and about a network for fashion designers and their startups. Very ambitious and yet feasible plans of young, innovative people. And this brings me back to what our foreign minister said this morning. When we want to integrate the region, use all its potential and create sustainable prosperity, increasing mobility and connections between our young people is the best tool. And here we need actions in the field of soft power that was discussed this afternoon, much more cooperation in culture and education. And I am also especially glad of the contribution of the Baltic University program here in this forum and the fresh and even critical views expressed by them. As Colin Wolfe said there in the networking village, the Baltic Sea region is cool and trendy. And as our friend Baiba Liepa said in the same event, we can be proud to come from the Baltic Sea region. Even if we already live in the best part of Europe, together we can make it even better.
Thank you very much, Erja. It's always nice to have little quotations to remember the week, the 2 days by. And Baltic is the new black, and also yellow trousers are the new black. So there are many fashionable things that we can remember with a smile the last 2 days. Thank you very much. Next, Dr. Ilze Rūse, you're taking us forward to look ahead. Welcome to the podium.
Thank you very much. And I have to admit I have a very, very pleasant task here. For the first, to thank organizers of this forum, and also to bring you and welcome you forward to bridge to the next forum in Riga, in Latvia, during Latvian presidency, approximately 1 year from now, mid-June 2015. So these last 2 days, we had a lot of new ideas and exchanges here that actually prove that this coordination and collaboration is a value added of the interaction and proves that the vibrant and the high cooperation spirit of the Baltic Sea interaction is something that we should take advantage of. And therefore, I have to admit that Latvian presidency will, apart from other priorities on global actorness of the EU, will focus also on the Baltic Sea strategy of macro-regional strategies as such, but in particular on the EU strategy of the Baltic Sea region. Which comes naturally because the presidencies before us, including Danish presidency, Polish presidency, Lithuanian presidency, all have taken this opportunity of, once having presidency, taken the Baltic Sea region in priority list, which will also be the case of Latvian presidency. So how to introduce Latvia and how to introduce our focus on the EU Strategy Forum in 2015 in June. My short presentation here will consist of 2 parts. The first part will be a video, the welcoming video on Latvia. It will take 6 minutes of your time. It's very inspiring because Latvia and Riga currently is a cultural capital of the EU, together with UMIO, which also approves another synergy of values and the spirit of region bringing us together. And you will see in this video also the cultural dimension and cultural aspect of Latvia. The name of this video sounds like Latvia, and you will see why, because in our country even Art Nouveau buildings are speaking. But in this video, there is something which also proves that the country is very dynamic. And there is something that possibly is not true if we see us here today in June 2014. And therefore, I will change roles now. I will ask questions to moderators to watch carefully and to report what is outdated in this video. So I now please ask organizers, and after that, after the video, I will present the thematic emphasis of Latvian Forum 2015.
Latvia sounds natural. Latvia sounds like fun. Latvia sounds like business. Nothing else sounds like Latvia. Latvia.
So now, could I come back to my question and ask what was strange in this video?
I couldn't find anything.
The audience there. Right.
The currency,
On 1st of January 2014, Latvia became EU member, so Eurozone member, which means that we are now members of Eurozone, and Latvian currency, Lats, is a history. Yeah. And it actually has also proved and changed also the potential, because also we have to admit that the current growth GDP growth in Latvia is the fastest growing economy. The forecast 4.1% next year. So we hope that this spirit will maintain and we will also have advantage of Eurozone accession in this respect. But now to the point of the next EU Baltic Sea Strategy Forum in Latvia, being hosted in mid-June in collaboration with the Commission. So we intend, after extensive consultations with national stakeholders and also endorsement from strategy national contact points, that the event will be entitled Connecting Region or Regions, Achieving Equality. And now you have to visualize how you spell equality when you put E stretch quality. So the focus will be on the digital agenda, which is very good follow-up from Ambassador, what you said actually, that we have to admit and to bring forward the strengths that we have in our region. So therefore, we would expand on this concept by looking closer in all aspects of e-science, e-culture, e-health, but also spatial planning, energy efficiency, and aspects that have actually connectivity in fourfold rationale. The first, the exchange of best practices between different macro regions. Also stronger integration within Baltic Sea region here, but also forthcoming synergies between various priority areas and also creating better links with the general publics. Therefore, in our forum, we plan to invite approximately 300 to 400 participants, including also NGOs, academia, and also organize back-to-back meetings and strategy priority area coordinators meetings and horizontal action leaders meetings. So here the event in Turku was a very good example how to make informal networking event very efficient and also proactive in terms of reaching its objective. So therefore, we will also have opportunity to focus on renewable energies and also on environmentally friendly policies, which is strengths. If you fly to Latvia, you will see that we have a very green country, and we will definitely use the geographic location of Latvia, and we hope to host you in mid-June when we have very long days and lots to do also on the coast of the Baltic Sea. So with this, I would like just to welcome everyone to Latvia next year, mid-June. Welcome to Latvia.
Thank you very much, Ilze. And now over to Hans Brask, Director of the Baltic Development Forum, and a seasoned participant in these meetings. Hans is someone who has presided over 8 summits. Oh, it's almost like 10. So half of the BDF summits you have done and directed yourself. What are your takeaways, and above all, what are the BDF plans for the future?
Thank you very much, Pawel. Yes, indeed, 8 summits I have been having the responsibility, some of them together with very good partners, not least the European Commission. So I'm very pleased that this year has been the one with most participants, as you also said earlier. So each summit is different, and this has indeed also been different. And I think that we are discussing many important issues, of course, and one also being the issue of governance. And I think that with the turnout of so many people, I think that we have, in some sense, also voted with our feet, in the sense that we have shown that this is important. Cooperation in the Baltic Sea region is important. And I think in that sense, it is also a message in the discussion about governance. And since we do not have all the prime ministers here to give us political leadership, I think with the turnout and with the participation of so many stakeholders, that we can send a good message to them that this is indeed important, and we are awaiting clear signals for political masters on the future. I will not repeat many of the good points that you summed up earlier, but let me just mention a few. We discussed the new normal, and I think there's a very good power that you ask whether it's something that we do accept. Do we accept what the future is described ahead of us? And I think in some sense, we are here not to accept destiny. We are here to accept that we can change the prospects. And I think that the discussions have been so vibrant, and I think a lot of energy, that we will not accept so easily the new normal. We can do better, and with growing together, we can, I'm sure, change the new normal to something that looks more prosperous. It has also been mentioned that we need to attract more investments in order also to change this new normal. And let me just mention some of the things that we will follow up on. And actually, we will follow up next week in Helsinki. We have there a conference between all the investment promotion agencies of the region in order to attract more investments to the region. And you have been so kind to say that we came well prepared with 4 reports. But let me present a 5th one, which we will present next week. It's a business plan on how to attract investments to the region that will be discussed with all the investment promotion agencies. It's part of a good partly EU-funded project that we have, one BSR. So that is one of the things that we would like to follow up and try to see whether we can change the new normal. Talents and skills, of course, also something that we have discussed a lot, and also here we would like to see what can be done. I should not repeat, as I said, you're summing up, but let me also just mention that it was such a pleasure to see an Estonian-Finnish leadership in the ICT area, and it is something that we would like to bring home and try to inspire all other countries that it is possible to have cross-border e-governance, e-signature, then that we can push this agenda further. And let me just return to the governance, which I think is one very important issue that we had heard here today. I've been dealing with regional cooperation, regional integration, but also European integration for many years in Brussels and in other places. And I get a little nervous when the Commission is saying that now we give something back to member states. It is not normally in the DNA of the Commission to bring something back, if I may, Colin. So I get a little worried. I mean, we are getting so used to having you here, and you're such a fine diplomat. We need you here to help us define what the common denominator is and how we can all move forward. So don't expect that we so easily would like to see a re-exported EU strategy. But of course, we understand that it is important that there's ownership. And as I said earlier, with voting here with our feet, we have to tell that we also want clear commitments from our political leaders. But I think that the Estonian and Finnish Prime Minister did show leadership in at least one very important sector. But now it is also my time to thank. First of all, I have to apologize that it's not Lene Espersen here. We have an active politician heading Baltic Development Forum, and when political things come up in your home turf, on your home base, then you have to react, so we had to leave a little earlier. I'm also saying this because it would be nice to end with a panel of 3 ladies, and that is something I've heard that we should have more women in the panels, but so I also have to double apologize here that I'm here in front of you. But let me also then start thanking. I would like to start thanking the city of Turku. I think it has been tremendous to see how you have been able to more or less copy what a capital like Berlin was able to pull off with Baltic Sea Days throughout the whole week with so many different activities. And I think that Turku, you have shown that you are perhaps not a capital, but you are definitely a metropolis when it comes to Baltic Sea cooperation. And I've seen that in many senses it is now a capital of our region. And if you have a clear definition of what your interests are, and I think the city has shown that the Baltic Sea is part of your DNA. I'm looking at you, Mikko, but in some sense you are perhaps the foreign minister of Turku, and I think you are very ambitious on behalf of your city, and so rightly so, and also for your team with Mika. I just want to say that behind two men there are most often a strong woman, and here there are women. I also want to say that we should highlight Päivi and Sarah's good work. Sarah and Päivi have also done a lot with logistics, which is not least important when we are so many here. Erja, thanks to you. Thanks to the Foreign Ministry. Thank you for also being so active in ensuring that we could have these events here. We know the political situation is difficult, but I think that we have been able to overcome it and having a very interesting program. And as I said, thanks to the Commission, thank you to the whole team. You have also been working night and day to make this happen. And then I also say my team has also worked night and day, and so also thank you very much for that. There are many people we should thank, not least the audience, not least for you coming here. Thank you very much for turning up in such a high numbers and taking active part in the discussions. The volunteers have been here. They are studying at the political science at the university. I think we should thank them. Also the interpreters, although perhaps there were not so many sessions where you were needed, but that was also very good. And as a sponsor-led organization, I have to say that I also have to thank my sponsors. So thank you for being behind us. We want to be a smart region. We want to do better, and part of that is also that our events are becoming better, and we would like you to fill in the evaluation so we can get some input from you, what could be better, and I think that you can use it when we are meeting in Riga next year. The Baltic Development Forum Summit was in Riga last year, and I think you can expect marvelous days in June next year. 8 summits, Pawel, perhaps that suffice also. I would also like to say that this is my last one. I will be leaving Baltic Development Forum 1st of August. It has been, for me, tremendous years. I have been really enjoyed having so many contact with so many different stakeholders, so many different regions, cities, and countries. That this will be something to remember for me. It has been really crucial years of my career. I will be returning to the Foreign Ministry, but we have been so lucky that to have the chance to have a successor in Baltic Development Forum before I'm leaving. And Flemming, you are here, and you are your first summit, so please could you stand up so we can see who is taking over the cooperation. But I would really like to thank you all, and this is something that I really would look back on with big pleasure. There are still some we have to thank, and not least you two guys. You have been tremendous, charming and wise in many ways, so I cannot give you roses enough, but I think that generally very many have come up and said that they are so pleased. So Mika, he had to take his car and rush back to his office because he would like to give you something. So Mika, where are you? Can you please come up? Mika, come in. And I think they should have, and shouldn't we give them a round of applause for 2 moderators? Please go over, give me. I think that this is something very special for the city of Turku. So can you explain?
So I can manage it without a mic. So the summer season is about to begin, and I hope it means some free time for you as well. Maybe a nice barbecue party with your friends and loved ones. But in order to prepare the food and then to be the cook for the evening, so you need an apron. So as a small gift from the organizer's side, so we hand you these special Turku design barbecue aprons and towels. Have a nice summer.
Last thing for me to say is that we have put into the evaluation sheet encouragement for you to say who do you think throughout these 2 days that really deserve an extra recognition. We have in Baltic Development Forum our Baltic Sea Award that we sometimes give out at this time of the year. But we would like to take the occasion to get an input from you and that we all together could vote for someone that we feel deserve an extra recognition, as I said. So please come with your proposals and then we will later in the year disclose who will be the winner. Baltic Development Forum Summit will also take place next year, of course, for the 17th time. We will announce this while we give out the Baltic Sea Award, which will be during the Fehmarn Belt Days at the end of September, 1st of October. It will be the other part of the Baltic Sea where we will have an event there, and there it will be given out, and we will of course all inform you about who will be the winner. So please help us also vote in this occasion. So these are my final words, and thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Hans, for the warm words, and thank you, Mika and the city of Turku. This was so amazing. I was actually expecting it to be a Kiss My Turku apron, which would have been very nice. But it's quite refined and also very nice. And thanks for the opportunity to co-moderate with Pawel. That was a very, it was a bit of an intimidating request or offer when you offered it to me last November, and I took it on with fear. And it's been a whole lot of fun because I've had my Jedi Master to follow, and I thank you very much, Pawel, for being, and thank you very much to all of you for being such an energized and engaged audience, especially down to the very end of today. Thank you.
Thank you very much as well. Emily, it has been a real joy to spend these 2 days with you on stage. And Hans, you've done such a tremendous job for the Baltic Sea region that I know perfectly well whom I'm going to suggest in my evaluation form for the Baltic Sea Award this September. I hope that former, at that time, BDF employees qualify. If not, we will need to find a good way of rewarding you for all you have done for the region. As for the future, I hope that the State of the Region report next year will be entitled Dazzling Return of Youthful Vigor in the Baltic. Something like that. We need to challenge the new normal, and I hope that we will. Many thanks to the BDF, to the European Commission, to the government of Finland, and to Turku. It's been great fun being here. It's my first time, but I will certainly return. Many thanks, and safe travels to everyone.